This video from Aruba, a Hewlett-Packard Enterprise company, is designed to give you information on the positioning, customer challenges, and competition you will face in the retail vertical, particularly for an SMB. If you're watching this video as opposed to listening as a podcast, you can then check if you remembered the key points by answering a couple questions. It's true, opportunities in retail await. Recent research shows that 42% of in-store shoppers search for product information online while in stores, and 64% of retailers plan to implement mobile POS. Now, let's hear what our subject matter expert, Mike Brewer, presented on a recent SMB webinar.
Online shopping was typically something that was done at home or at the office, sitting in front of a computer. It wasn't something that you brought with you. However, with the proliferation of mobile devices over the past 7 years, it's really become something that people can do while they're in the store. And this presents a real challenge for retailers, and especially the small and medium retailers, because they don't have the same online presence that some of the larger retailers do. Deloitte Consulting recently did a survey showing that 84% of consumers use a mobile device or computer to help influence their purchase decision. Where the challenge really comes in is that you could be standing in a store and somebody could pull up their phone and cross-shop with an Amazon or another online retailer fairly quickly with little investment, whereas before they would have to literally move themselves into their car and drive to another store to cross-shop, so it was less likely that they would do what's called showrooming in the actual store. Next slide. So I want to talk about how Aruba can help modernize the brick and mortar to make it more enticing for customers to stay in the store and as well as be a little more competitive with those online retailers. So obviously in brick and mortars there's a lot of different things vying for access. So you have guest Wi-Fi as one, Wi-Fi calling with the proliferation of the iOS 9 and T-Mobile offered it for a while and Android's also offering it now. Making sure you have a rock-solid connection so that people can actually utilize their phones for what their phones are for, making calls while in the store is definitely needed because nobody likes going to a dead zone. Also, mobile point of sale, we're starting to see these pop up a lot lately because the people want to be able to have that, the retailers want to be able to capture that sale in the instant rather than have something added to a cart and walked up to the front of the store where you have time to go, well, maybe I'll wait a couple more weeks before I grab this. They want to be able to sell it to you right then and there. So kind of envision like how the Apple Store works where you're there and they check you out right then and there. So we're seeing those come in a lot. And then so the two areas we're going to really focus on today is analytics and mobile engagement. And those two things are going to help increase the ROI and give some business intelligence. Why retail chooses Aruba? There's four main pillars. So access solutions, of course, 802.11ac Wi-Fi and multi-gig switching is important to have a solid backbone and good plumbing. But additionally, zero-touch provisioning and branch-in-a-box are two of the things that really kind of set us apart. Zero-touch provisioning allows a retailer with a distributed footprint, maybe they have 5 stores in the city or 10 stores in the state, they're able to actually ship the gear to site with non-extremely technical resources, so basically local hands. They can have the stuff plugged in, it'll reach out to Aruba Airwave, download its configuration, and auto-configure itself. This saves a lot of IT time and money because they're not having to ship their IT staff out to each location. Branch-in-a-box solutions is another key way of money saving. It allows them to utilize broadband internet services rather than have to pay for a dedicated MPLS or other type of private LAN. They can use the, like the 7000 series controller as a firewall, VPN endpoint, and also DHCP server. So they're able to reduce the number of pieces of equipment they have to have on site. Sorry, that's a mouthful. And then of course the lifetime warranty that comes with that. So moving into the next pillar are policy services and security. Obviously with ClearPass, oh sorry, next pillar, not next slide. No worries. So colorless ports really help out where the device that's plugged into the port is profiled and given a role based on that profile rather than having it assigned by IT. So if they need to plug in a VoIP phone, they plug that in, ClearPass sees it, knows what it is, and assigns it to the appropriate role or VLAN for a VoIP phone. Alternatively, if somebody unplugs that VoIP phone and plugs their computer in, If it's an unrecognized device, it gets pushed over into a guest area. So it creates a little extra security and also alleviates a lot more IT work because they're able to, basically the switch ports are able to auto-provision themselves based on the device plugged in. And then, of course, architecture and visibility. Aruba APs are all instant, controller-based, and cloud-based from the same hardware. So if a retailer wants to start off small with an instant setup, and then maybe later they want to move to a cloud-based management platform, they don't have to rip and replace all that gear. They're able to use the same pieces of hardware and just move them over to centralized management, something that our competition doesn't really have available. And of course, PCI compliance reporting with Airwave is huge for retail, and yeah, being able to check network health is always awesome. And then the other thing we're going to focus on is location-based services. Wayfinding, push notifications, we've talked about these ad nauseum. I'm sure y'all have heard enough about that. But the newest thing is location sharing. And we'll get a little more into that later, but that's one of our new features. And of course, for all of this stuff in the Meridian platform to work, they need to have a mobile app, and that can be done with our white label app maker or via the software development kits. And then, of course, we're one of the only vendors out there to provide centralized beacon management. So again, no need to fly IT resources to each location. They're able to manage everything from headquarters. So next slide. So we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into analytics, and not super deep, but just a little more on how this can really help retailers grasp what they grasp that business intelligence they need about their customers and their space. So it's not just capturing, where people are standing. They're also able to capture how people use their space, and it's very important. So if you take, obviously this isn't an SMB customer, but imagine like you're standing in a Walmart. Those planograms, how the things are arranged on the shelves, where they're arranged in the store, is a very kind of trial and error process unless they have some sort of system to monitor how customers go through. And typically that's done with people or with surveillance cameras. But with the Wi-Fi, they're able to quickly get second-by-second slices of how people move through their space. So if they have an area of the store that's a dead zone, they're able to see what items are attracting people to the store the most and maybe move those around so that they're able to get more people into the other areas of the store, and that increases those cross sales. So just one example. So for the analytics, we use the L server. We also have a whole host of partners that handle the presentation or dashboard layer of the analytics solution. Very key when you're talking to your customers, you really want to make sure you understand what all they want to get out of the system and what all information they're willing to put into the system. So vendors like Retail Next also tie into security cameras, and they're able to do some kind of, let's say not analytics, it is analytics, but it's profiling of the customers. So they can kind of give you age, demographics, and just that helps kind of round out that story. So they all offer different things, and it's really important to figure out what it is that they want. So this moves us into our Meridian, our location offering. And of course, we mentioned wayfinding. Unless they have a large geographic footprint, wayfinding is not really something that you'd want to sell like a 7-Eleven or a small convenience store. It's kind of pointless, but for the larger footprint stores, it really helps with customer satisfaction because they're able to find what they need. And we did a survey earlier this year at NRF, and we found that 56% of people prefer to forego dealing with a sales associate and just find information about their products on their mobile device. So for those more than half the people in your store, that means they probably don't want to talk to somebody. They want to be able to get to that information themselves, and providing with that will, of course, make them happy. Push notifications, obviously you're able to send the notifications directly to the phone, and that can be in the way of a coupon. And when you walk in the front door, maybe that's a 20% off coupon for the entire store, or you can get a lot more granular and localized. So maybe the cosmetics section is having a sale. You don't want to target everyone in the store with that cosmetics notification because that's annoying people, is a quick way to get your app deleted. So what they'll want to do is they kind of put the beacon there and have that chirp, and it'll only go out to the people that enter the cosmetics section. And that's really a way to help it be more contextual and more relevant messaging. And then, of course, we move into location sharing. Now, this is our newest feature, and it's really kind of awesome for retail because they're able to share store associates' locations with customers. So if I'm in the electronics section and I need help with TVs, I can pull it up. I can find out that, okay, there's 3 associates near me that all specialize in electronics. I want to talk to this person, and I can send them a notification, and it'll navigate them to me. And that'll, of course, definitely increases customer satisfaction. So Starbucks. Everyone has at least seen a Starbucks, probably been in a Starbucks. Starbucks is it has Aruba APs, and one of the main things that we really want to get out of this use case or this experience is the zero-touch deployment. They have over 12,000 stores in the United States, and they made the conversion, I want to say it was under 12 months, from their previous provider to their new provider with Google and Aruba. And they did that using zero-touch deployment. They're able to ship the stuff on site, literally pull down the previous AP, plug in the new one, click it up, and it auto-provisioned itself. It was really kind of awesome. And then, of course, the customized guest portal and visibility with all of our architecture stuff.
For more information on the retail sector, here are some links that you can go to. Also, if you still have questions, don't hesitate to contact Mike at the address listed here. Thank you for listening, and we wish you all the greatest success in the retail vertical.